Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. I have two silver rums from the Caribbean islands, and they're bottled in the United States. Now, they're both 40% alcohol, also, which is typical. This is Silver Label Ronrico Caribbean rum. It is produced at the Cruzan Rum Distillery in St. Croix, on the island of St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. This is their current label. Extra smooth premium. Okay, the current label showing the beach on an island with a walkway, a cabana. If you look carefully, there's even people there at the bar with drinks. Okay. I bought this at Winn-Dixie years ago. It was like $8.99 for the bottle. Now, I could have gotten it cheaper for the handle, but I didn't really want a handle. There's a cocktail recipe on the back. On Ronrico Caribbean Breeze. Bottled by Ronrico Rum Company, Frankfort and Claremont, Kentucky. Well, you can see the bottle is the same exact bottle design as Old Granddad or Old Crow or Beam's 8-star. It's that standard Jim Beam bottle, because what happened was, and Beam is owned by that's why I put Suntory Global Spirits. Jim Beam today is a subsidiary of the Japanese company Suntory. This was introduced in 1860, and there's the crest on the bottleneck, and that's there for a reason. If it'll focus, and that's from the King of Spain. Burley Sullivan. I'm choking. Burley Sullivan says, "You." I'm gonna say cheers back to you. I think it was Alfonso the 13th. He gave Ronrico a designation as a rum of the Spanish nobility. That was in the 1890s. And they still use that crest because they like to brag about that. So in the 1890s, Puerto Rico was part of the Kingdom of Spain. And but their production has been moved to the U.S. Virgin Islands. I don't know who owns a distillery today in Puerto Rico. Maybe somebody else took it over. Maybe it was shut down and demolished. I really don't know. Ronrico's heyday was like in the 1950s to the 80s when Seagram's owned it. But then in the 80s, there's the competitor, WD Liquors light rum, distilled rum, makes sense, imported from the Caribbean islands. We don't know which islands, bottled in Kentucky at Buffalo Trace by Wide World importers for Winn-Dixie stores. And you can see it's $12.99 right now during this month. There is no website for Ronrico. So there it is, $12.99 only at Winn-Dixie. And you have to go in the store to buy it. You can't get it curbside or delivered. All right. I paid $1 more because when I bought it, it was $13.99. Well, naturally, it went on sale after I bought it. So I'll pour them up. They're both clear. Dawn Busters, right? So Ronrico, you can usually find a pretty good price on it if you look around. Like I said, $8.99 was great. I don't think it's that cheap now. I bought it about 5 years ago, but it's how long it takes me to get through these. I do an initial tasting, and then the taste challenges take years. But I'm in no rush to get rid of it. Seagram's took it over at some point. I don't know who the original Ronrico producers were, some old family, and then they sold it to the big Seagram's company, who itself was not owned by the original people. The Seagram's family had sold it in the 1920s. I guess they figured prohibition wasn't exactly beneficial to the liquor business, but Then that same family held it from the 20s till 2000, or maybe technically 2001 when all the sales were finalized. But they started okay, so they're both silver. They began to de-emphasize their liquor business, and they started expanding into petrochemicals and other things. And the guy that had taken over, because they always had one member of the family to kind of like run it, and the young guy that had taken over, he's old now, but he thought that there was more growth potential in other areas, like I said, petrochemicals. And then in the 90s, late 90s, he decided that they really should exit the liquor business because it was profitable, but he thought it was a bigger chance to make a lot more money if they got into entertainment, like streaming videos, which in 1999, 2000 was not really known yet, but they could see that this internet and all of that was going to be big in entertainment, music, and all that. So he just talked to the family, and they said, let's sell everything liquor-wise, all the distilleries, all the brands. And they got invested in this big French company, which they have stock in today. So other people bought Seagram's products over the years. They made a big sell-off to Sazerac in 1989, a bunch of brands, and then another big sell-off to Jim Beam Company in 91, I think, or 94, 91. And then they just decided to sell the whole thing. Okay, but Seagram's is still around, but not as a company, just as brand names and recipes and trademark rights and all of that. Still very famous brand. People like it. As you know, Seagram's Gin being one of the top sellers in the United States. Seagram's Vodka, very popular. Seagram's VO, Seagram's 7 Crown, all of that. All right, and there are the Seagram's flavored beers, you know, those Seagram's Escapes. Man, I see people buying that like crazy. Now, Ronrico, like I said, old legacy brand, a relic of the past, but still around. There's a Ronrico Gold label. I think there's an Overproof 151, spiced. Typical rum lineup, but they don't advertise for it, and they don't even bother putting it on their website. They just have it on the shelves, and you get some people that latch onto it and they buy it. Like I say, a nice label with the blue sky and the ocean. Okay, Ronrico, rich rum. That's what it means, rich rum. Okay, and it really does go back to 1860. It's not some made up date like they like to do oftentimes, pretend that something's old when it really isn't, like Evan Williams. 1783, but then you find out the trademark was issued in 1955, and you say, that's somewhat later than 83. 1783. Yeah, not much aroma here. Nothing bad, but just kind of vacant. More here, more sweetness. And if I remember correctly, Ronrico had some richness. Rich Rico. Nothing elaborate, but a little something. Now, price point on these would be about the same for the handle. I mean, like I said, I found Ronrico handles for $12.99 also. Now, it wasn't in the last year or two, but I haven't been looking for them. But you'll still see them around for really low prices. Cruzan is their producer now. And they're a credible company. Everybody knows about it now. Whether everybody likes Cruzan, that's different story, but it's well known. It's established. They've been around since 1760, 100 years before. So now the taste. There's sweetness here. Not a lot, but there is some that you're going to get with any rum. But it's mostly dry. And it's got this sugarcane grassiness, the stalks, sugarcane stalks. Pleasant, but simple. That's a good way to describe it. Pleasant, but simple. And that's making me think it's the WD liquors. Sazerac, through their Wide World Importers team or whatever they have there. I'm sure they collaborate with Winn-Dixie, and I've been seeing this thing on the shelves since I was a little kid. I don't even think the label ever changed, but it's a steady seller. But they probably tell them that, we want it this way. We don't care who makes it. That's immaterial to us. Y'all handle that end of it, but we want it this profile, taste profile, and they might give them samples. Yeah, and it might have been the same profile for 60 years. Just don't change it. Dry, basic, mixable, which 99% of the people buying it are going to do with it, mix it. So we want it to go with rum and coke. We want it to be a good rum and coke mix. Okay. Or Pepsi. Yeah, sweeter. Even getting a little bit of that strawberry shortcake that I got with that Caliber. And the what was one of the other ones I had recently, but not as profound as Caliber's strawberry shortcake. So every clear rum that Sazerac makes does not taste the same as the other, because they got different people making it, So it's all about how the retailer wants it done. Winn-Dixie wants it their way. Walmart apparently had a much different idea about it with that Caliber. And they might have said, well, this tastes like strawberry shortcake. Oh, we're sorry. No. That's what we want. They might have said, that's what we want. And I see Caliber always selling. So when they were supplying the one of the pharmacy chains, they probably had their own idea about it. That ended though. The Grand Legacy is gone. I mean, Grand Legacy's finished, but you might find it at some independent liquor store. And I have found it at quite a few independent liquor stores, because I guess when the pharmacy chain decided to kill it off, they said, yeah, just sell it to whoever wants it. These people will go to auctions and buy this stuff, put it on the shelf. Because when I went to a Star and they had Grand Legacy, they didn't have a price tag in it. I took the handle. I said, what's the price on this? Oh, it's $10.99. I said, never mind. Not that was a bad price at all. That's what they had at the pharmacy. But he said, what do you want to pay for it? I said, oh, no, I was just doing a price check. I didn't care either way. He said, well, how about if I sell it to you for $8.99? I said, you got it. $8.99, yeah, I'll take the deal, even though I didn't need it. And I gave it to my friend David. He didn't care for it. He had a few sips of it. He said, I don't like it. He's not too much for Canadian whiskey in general. So he gave it to me. And I have it stashed away. Everybody's not going to like everything, Dry. Sweeter. Now, is Ronrico still an official rum for Spanish royalty? That kind of thing may have expired a long time ago, but they still keep that crest, because they're saying, they awarded this to us, and it may have never been rescinded or whatever, but there you get a view of it. It focus, but that's an old Spanish Kingdom of Spain motif. Okay, so to finish this up, would I recommend either one of these? I would recommend them at their price point. If you see them for a high price, don't buy them. But for $12.99, can't go wrong with this. Can't go wrong. It's not going to amaze you, but it's not going to dismay you. You see, you're going to feel like, hey, that was a deal. Because it is cheaper than normal. And the normal price is not much. not high. So yeah, that's a deal. Ronrico, if you find it for $8.99, boy, you got a deal because that's really not going to happen this day and age. But still, you shouldn't have to pay more than say $11.99 for it. But I could do a quick price check. Let's see, Ronrico, rum, and you can look up old advertisements for it. And there's thousands of ads, but they're all from the latest ones you'll find is from the early '80s. Here's Ronrico white rum, a handle for $15.99. A handle, not the regular bottle, handle. Yeah. Yep. Market View Liquor in Rochester, New York. Well, they kind of pricey there, New York. ABC Fine Wine and Spirits in Florida. Big common liquor company all across Florida. I've been there so many times. Great beer selection, or it used to be. Wine, of course, liquor. $15.99, same price. Huh. What do you know? I'm talking about for the handle. Total Wine and More. That's always a good place to check because they tend to be a little cheaper than everybody. $14.49. I figured that in Louisiana. $14.49. See, I think they just go through the internet. They got a team of people that do that. Can you imagine what a boring job that would be? But they, whatever it is, it's $1. They make it $1 cheaper. Like, okay, they got it. Whatever they got, $1 cheaper. Because I always notice that if Walmart has something for $35, you check Total Wine, it's going to be $34. Just $25, it's going to be $24 on Total Wine. Specs. Here's another good place to check. Big liquor chain in Texas. Now see, that's not such a good price. $19.46 for the gold rum. No, I'd pass on that. Lisa's Liquor Barn, that's another big one. $11.99. Oh, that's a liter. Okay, never mind. Well, it's fair. That's a fair price. Ronrico Silver Rum is a traditional Caribbean rum. Now they're giving you their explanation of it, and they didn't write that up. That's coming from the either the distributor or the actual company that owns it. Suntory is a traditional Caribbean rum. Ronrico has the mellow character and mixability that make Caribbean rums the world's most popular. Typical of this rum style, Ronrico delivers both lightness and flavor to a variety of mixed drinks. Absolutely what I just described, and that's what they want it to be. Pretty, just regular. And where is this? Oh, Penfield, New York. Got a lot of New York liquor stores. And that's not a bad price for a state that tends to be pricey. Okay, well, there you go. Just what I said. It's still a good price. Lucan, we'll check one more. Lucan's Wine and Spirits. $14.99 for the handle. There's your price. There's your price. And they got Miles from Sazerac. Miles, London Dry Gin. I see that everywhere. It's usually cheap. I tried it. It wasn't bad. Where are they located? Locations. Let's see. I don't know. Florida. Dunedin, Florida. That's their corporate headquarters. Okay. Of course, it'd probably be in other states. All right. So I'm saying this is the WD. And it is another win. All right. Well, I'm going to check the news now. Y'all take care and have a great